It is no secret that with the Supersonic hat on my shelf and my undying love for Sonic Forces over Sonic Mania, that I am indeed a Sonic fan. Not a fan of platformers, but a fan of Sonic. So, when tackled with a new franchise that is inspired by the blue blur, it's time to see if it can set out and stand on its own. Let's see what you've got, Team Lilac, and Freedom Planet for Nintendo Switch. And a great thank you to XSeed for providing us with a review code. Before we even get to the title screen, Freedom Planet gives you a taste of the story this game has to offer, and it is something that I wasn't really expecting. We start off at a starry night on Planet Avalice, with the invasion of Shuigang Palace by a galactic, furry-browed emperor named Lord Brevin. After killing the king of Shuigang and taking control over his son Dale, we're introduced to the main artifact that is the cause of the conflict on this planet, the Kingdom Stone, a powerful stone that provides the kingdoms of Avalice with energy, and it is now suddenly fading due to the high demand of energy the kingdoms need. To add on to that, the mind-controlled Dale is now also spreading wreckage across Avalice to gather more energy for himself. After this introduction and the title screen, we're introduced to Lilac and Carol, being disturbed by a sudden plane crash and checking out the scene to find Serpentine, one of Lord Brevin's henchmen, attacking a shell duck named Torque. After saving his life and easily tricking Serpentine by just running behind a rock, they befriend Torque and learn that his mission is to protect the Kingdom Stone from being stolen. Taking on the job for him, Lilac and Carol alert General Gong and Nira at the Relic Maze about an upcoming ambush by Mayor Zhao of Shangmu. Instead of listening and taking their word, they are indeed attacked, and it's up to Lilac and Carol to now catch up and get the Kingdom Stone. However, they are suddenly stopped by Aeon from Final Fantasy Sonic X, Spade, as he is stealing the Kingdom Stone at that moment. After getting away with it as well, Lilac escapes from the caverns of the maze, and Carol is saved by this weird but cute dog named Mila. After befriending her and having movie night at Lilac's treehouse, Carol stumbles upon Torque messing with some machinery and realizes he isn't a shell duck at all. He is in fact a chaser, part of an alliance between many different worlds, and his duty is not only to protect the Kingdom Stone, but to destroy it if it falls into Lord Brevin's hands. Instead of leaving him to his mission alone, Lilac, Carol, and Mila decide to make his mission their mission, and so the adventure begins. Now, I do hope that was easy to understand, because Freedom Planet doesn't really do a great job of introducing characters or ideas. The characters are charming once they're interacting with one another, but otherwise they feel very plopped into the story. When Spade is introduced, we only learn that he is most likely Dale's brother because he refers to looking for his father's murderer. Even being introduced to Lilac and Carol feels strange, as if there really isn't an introduction to them. The conflict just happens to stumble upon them, and they willingly get involved. However, the best character I would say is Lord Brevin, even without the interactions. His voice is amazingly chilling, with such dynamic power whenever he speaks. He is a villain brought to life thanks to his voice, and his introduction is perfect because he is an invader. He isn't meant to be casually introduced, he is meant to be a disturbance to the normalcy of Planet Avalice. If Freedom Planet didn't have voice acting with the amount of dialogue this game has, I would absolutely hate it. But the voice acting does a good job of bringing to life the story that it presents. You can also play the story as Carol and Mila, giving different cutscenes and a different perspective of the events that transpire. However, you may not want to do that for what we're about to get into. Unlike most standard platformers, Freedom Planet incorporates action into its already fast-paced gameplay. With Lilac, you can utilize her kicks and uppercut to take out enemies up close. If you want to do multiple hits quickly, double jumping causes her to twirl in the air and attack enemies using her hair. This, as well as her directional boost, uses up her special gauge, which refills in just a few seconds and even faster if you collect crystal. Playing as Carol allows you to claw down at enemies and pounce across the stage with these red platforms that are built into the floors and walls. When you press the jump button with her while she's already in the air, she'll do a very minor pounce that allows her to wall jump. Want to get some easy vertical distance? Just wall jump like you're playing Mega Man X. However, the pounce doesn't really go that far, so I also feel less inclined to use it unless I really am lost. However, both in stages you'll find random gas tanks. This is what allows Carol to use her motorcycle. It not only gives her a huge boost of speed, but a bigger hitbox on her attacks as well. Playing as Mila is very strange to say the least. She can create a shield that she can angle in several directions when holding her attack buttons, and when releasing the button, it will shoot out a laser. She can dig and find items. Lastly, her other attack allows her to create blocks and toss them to attack enemies. Among the three, I think Mila has the most issues. When holding her attack button to utilize the shield, she can't jump or move forward or backwards, meaning that it halts the fast-natured pace of the game. With the blocks she creates, they don't stick around at all when thrown. They are essentially her projectile, which feels a bit off because when you start her first level, there is this gelatin on the floor that clearly looks very much like the blocks that she can create. I find it strange that it's not part of her mechanics when her first stage introduces that these blocks allow her to jump. Moving forward with things that don't work, although the stages are very well designed and very fun to blow through, they take up to about 10 minutes each. Which wouldn't be a problem if it were due to multiple pathways to fully incentivize exploring, but that's not the case, and I think it's because each stage has a mid-boss and an end-stage boss. Although some are fun, many cause the game's difficulty to just randomly spike, such as the fight against Spade or the Relic Maze boss. In addition to the fact that each stage is long, considering that I'm playing on the Switch and sometimes I play on the train, it sucks when I have to turn off my Switch and then start the stage I was playing all over again. It suffers the same issue that Sonic Mania does when you can't start at Act 2 of a zone. The overall presentation of the game is spectacular. The pixel art, character designs, and sound design is fantastic. Character movement is very fluid, and the first time I noticed it was in a prologue cutscene where Brevin pulls out his blade. Although some designs are strange, they don't feel out of place from the world that is built, except for Lord Brevin and Torque, because they are aliens. In terms of sound design, sound effects tend to have a strong crunch to them that emphasizes the impacts of attacks, especially when landing the final hit on a boss. However, although I stated the voice acting does bring the story to life, there are some places where you can clearly hear an echo, almost as if someone was recording their audio in their own house. Freedom Planet is a gem among many other indie games. As someone who sees it as a very risky place to drop money into, Freedom Planet delivers what it sets out to give to the player and goes beyond the average Sonic experience. Although there are some areas where the game could be a bit more polished, I think Freedom Planet will still provide a very enjoyable experience for anyone who picks it up. With that being said, I give Freedom Planet a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching, and thank you once again to XSeed and Galaxy Trail for providing us with a code for the game. Tell us in the comment section below what you think about the game, and if you plan on picking it up for Switch as well. I'd like to give a thanks to all our patrons, and especially to our super patron, the Duke of Dorks. Thanks for watching, and always remember to return to the source.